Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Jake Jabarelli of Jabarelli.com. Just a bunch of referral links. So lately I've been spending a lot more time with GPU mining, more than I ever thought I would. But it's a fascinating thing, and honestly it just keeps getting better. So for those of you out there who have had the opportunity to use GPUs to mine, whether they be 4 gig, 3 gig, or even 8 or 16 gig, which are the more popular ones lately, you may have discovered that the value of mining on GPU cards has drastically increased in the last couple of weeks. When I got into this, I was using NiceHash, and the cards I have are the 474 gig, which are supposed to not be useful anymore. Oops, this is wrong. I don't have 16 of them, I have 3. Okay, so when I started this here number right here said, actually let me do it for 1, because that was what I was originally looking at. This number was 0.57, so roughly 2.5 times less than the current value estimated. But I since quit using NiceHash because well, let me just put it this way. NiceHash does profitability switching, or profit switching. And so they change up every so often, a minute to 5 minutes, what the GPU is doing. And if you need stability over profitability, which is what I need for my cards since they're old, profit mining or profit switching isn't helping. It's just making the cards not work correctly, and then they'll crash, and then after maybe 5 to 10 hours they fail and have to reboot the system, and it's not helping me. So I went to HiveOS, learned a little bit about it, made a video about it. A lot of people didn't seem to care much for that video. But in the last few days, the value of hashing on Ethereum has gone up quite a bit. When I started, this little number down here for how much ETH I'd get per whatever was probably almost half what it's currently right now. It was like 0.008 instead of 0.016. And it just keeps going up. And this is confusing to me because the price of Ethereum and the price of Bitcoin aren't going up, at least not right now. Bitcoin is showing here at pretty much, I mean, even in the last 7 days, you can see the trend going down. Let me make this a little bit bigger real quick here, hold on. So Bitcoin seems to be heading south. It was up for a bit, but now it's down. But not a lot, because it's still above 11,000. And you can see with these listings here, it's generally up. 0.5% in the last hour, 2% in the last 24, and 3.5% in the last 7 days. So it is up, even though this is showing down. And Ethereum is also not doing so hot, as it tends to, like Litecoin used to do years ago, follow Bitcoin. So, I mean, this is not a terrible price. Not all that long ago, Ethereum was worth almost half, or slightly less than half that. If we go back to 30 days ago. So we're hovering right here around 400. And if we go back to mid-July, which is not even technically mid-August yet, it was at 233. So not quite half, but close to half. And if we look at just a little bit further back, it was hovering around the low $200 price range for quite some time. And even lower before that. So $200. So in the last quarter, 90 days, the price has doubled. It's definitely not doing bad. It's definitely a pretty good time to get into GPU mining. But nobody knows where it's going to be in 6 months. But that's always true. People who are mining back here had no idea this was going to happen. Neither did I. But the thing that's confusing me is that the price has been going down in the last 7 days, but my profitability has skyrocketed. I wish I had screenshots to show you what these numbers were showing before. But with the 3 cards I have, as you can see, let me just refresh this because it's probably not accurate. Yep, just went back to a normal rate here. This is what my 3 cards do. They average about 28, 29 mega hash per card, which averages out to about 85, 86 in total. Now that's not meeting this number, because this is showing per 100, but I mean, you can always divide by and get this number, you know, you can do some little maths and figure out what it would be. I mean, it'll be 0.85% of this number instead of 100% of this number. So, and that would be true for any number, whatever, you just divide by the percentage that you're getting, or multiply by, but the point is, this little 3x 474 gig rig is doing a lot better than when I started. When I started, I was getting an estimated, and that, like I said, the price was still pretty high. I've only been doing this for 4 days on HivePool. I was doing NiceHash for almost a month. So 4 days on HiveOn Pool, and their average prediction now is almost $5 for these 3 cards per day. Right here, earnings per day. And then, of course, they project the weekly, and if I were to, although it doesn't matter since it won't be that high even a week from now, it might be higher, it might be less, we have no idea. But based on the current numbers, I'm going to project out, keeping these cards can't even run past November anyways, but let's just for fun and stuff project 32.59 out 52 weeks. These 3 cards that are technically not going to be useful in another 4 months would in a year make $1,600. Now that's the revenue, not the profit, but when I started this, I was barely making a profit, and that was fine by me. I mean, my electricity cost on the 2 cards I was running was, I think, 24 cents a card per day, and I was making 30 cents on NiceHash. So I was making 6 cents per day, 6/100ths of a US dollar in a day profit, which if you take out to a full year is 20 bucks. Not a lot of profit. But I mean, the total would have been, you know, $100. That's how much my revenue would have been. Pardon me. Right now, with Ethereum, now remember that number was per card, and I have 3 cards. I was only using 2 before. Right now, 4.66 as of this number here, divide by 3, $1.55, $1.55 per card. Now that's, again, revenue, total amount of money, not the net or the amount of money I'm making after cost. So right now my total cost for this entire rig is $2 a day in electricity costs. So 4.66 minus 2 is that, divided by 3, and I'm making 0.88 profit per card per day. Going back to the original here, or 266, or like I said, to the full $1,000 a year. That's net gain over total cost. So, actually not over total cost, but over total revenue. So yeah, the total was $1,600 some odd. That's how much money would total come into my account. But this is, I'm making $1,000 a year with this current number, with these 3 cards on this one rig. Pure profit. That's what I want to make a point of about this. I'm sure that a lot of people are trying desperately to jump into the GPU market right now. Maybe not my watchers or my viewers. Maybe some of you guys already have rigs running. I haven't had a lot of talk about that, but yeah, anybody who has a GPU card in their computer that can run, be it a 3 gig or a 4 gig. Now, this is one of the problems that reason that people are selling their 4 gig and 3 card cards, or most 3 gig cards have already been sold, and are probably being used for video cards and not for mining. It's because the DAG file on Ethereum is so large that you can't mine with it anymore, whether it's on Linux or Windows. Windows, you definitely can't do it right now. HiveOS is not Windows, it's a Linux variant. So it doesn't use the same amount of VRAM as Windows does. And so it can continue to allow people to mine on other coins like Raven coin or Grin coin for probably a long time to come. But right now, HiveOn Pool here is showing a pretty high expected earnings per 100 mega hash. So just to put this into simple perspective, just to show out, I have another set of miners that I don't have online yet, but I'm trying to get them there as quickly as possible. I just have to get the equipment in place. There's a total of 16 cards, which are all 580s, and their current profitability is closer to, not profitability, but revenue numbers are basically just a tiny bit higher. So they're roughly the same as what I'm getting now, but that's 16 of them instead of 3. So let's divide by what I have right now. This is how many more times I have cards. It's 5.3 or 5 and an additional card. So you take that times this, or times what I'm actually getting. Let me just pull my numbers back over here. These are my numbers currently. So if I take this times this, 0.66, almost $25 US a day on those cards, which I obviously can't get. I'm not running them right now, but will be soon. And if I add in my cards to that set, 30 US dollars almost per day. Now, of course, there's electricity costs in there, and as you saw before, it's about, my rig cost me about $2. So you can still predict the same thing. Let's just say it was this many, because it's my rig plus their rigs, times 2. So it cost me $12, but I'm making 30 minus 12. So there's the profit for all the cards. And a friend of mine recently, just looking at others, I mean, I don't know how many people are doing this. There's got to be gobs and gobs and gobs of many mining farms out there that have switched, if not already currently on Ethereum. But I know a person who's doing a lot more. He's got, I think, 40 cards. And let's just say, oops, divide by 3 times my number. So he's making 60. So some people are doing pretty well right now. If you had 40 cards running all Ethereum right now, and they were the same cards that I had, you'd be pulling in $1,800 a month. Not, I mean, you got to consider power, obviously, but revenue, that's not bad, honestly. And that's kind of my goal here. I realize that GPU mining, although less efficient than ASIC mining, is probably more it's more attractive with ASIC mining because you get so much more money in a shorter time. But the cost of buying those machines is so ridiculously high. It's just not even funny. I know, I've had them. I've done that, and at that time I was doing 1600 watts with just 2 miners. So, anyways, the whole point of this video is to show that Ethereum, at least on HivePool, is doing exceptionally well. I know that I was looking at what to mine not that long ago on GPUs, and they're listing here, like when I first started, the Radeon 4, or pardon me, the Radeon 7 here, was listed at $2.50, and now it's up to $4.30. So it's almost double the value. So it's pretty much every card's gone up. So if you got one of these other cards, look to what to mine over here on the right hand side of the GPU list, and it'll tell you what you can make per day off your card. Now this is the actual profit, this is the revenue. So if you've got a Radeon 7, I would highly suggest you use it. You can make yourself, I mean, this is based on this price of power, but yeah, close to $5 a day for just one card. Granted, these cards are like $1,000, but and they're also pretty high power. But yeah, that's a lot. That's actually pretty significant. So if you have a rig with a bunch of them, well, multiply it out and you get it. So that's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching this update video on what's going on with GPU mining. I do want to talk on another video in the near future about another scam that I recently discovered. Let me pull it up here. This one. Mini CC. As far as I can tell, is a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scam or an MLM. They seem to be more about recruiting than they actually about making money, and it seems to be a lot like CryptoTab in the sense of it not really having real mining numbers, even though they profess to have real mining numbers, and even say that you can send mining directly to them. But it, as far as I can tell, is not really legit. So, yeah, gonna talk about this next. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one.